Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And as you already know, it will be a presentation about how use AI to analyze your load tests. Where should I stay to don't do this sound? And yeah, this is me, Andrii, you already know. And if you would have any questions, you can contact me on any of these platforms. Feel free to ask any questions. Send me photos of me, make a photo of me. And yeah. I'm working in Delivery Hero, and we delivering 10 million orders per day in 70 around countries, 24 hours, 7 days every week. But actually this is fake news, because since I created this presentation, we reached 11 million orders so far. And guess who did this great job to deliver 11 million orders a day? Thank you. Yes, I did it. So yeah, on the Monday I did 6 deliveries, so I contributed to this 11 million orders. But talking about 11 million orders back in 2020, situations wasn't like this. So we had Corona, people staying home, people ordering, and we had great increase in load to our system, which we were not ready at all. And we had a lot of incidents. I was on call, I was unhappy. This is me 5 years ago. And to bypass these problems, what we created this so-called reliability manifesto. This is a very interesting document. I really suggest you to read it. But if you, like today we will go through one part of this document, which is exactly about reliability, and it states, we design for failure. So we design for failure, and we prepare for rapid growth with ongoing load testing. So this is good, and if you open manifesto, this is old version, because we iterating on the document. Right now it's new one, but it gives you a good understanding of what we are doing. So we need to test at least once a week. We need to test rapid growth of our system, at least 3x compared to the biggest production country. We need to test realistic patterns. We need to test in the environment which is equal to production, and so on and so forth. So we have some rules. You created a rule, but you don't have a tool. And guess, if you don't have a tool, how you do this? Who can guess? Yeah?
Manually.
Exactly, you do this manually. So behind the Gopher, you can see the exact example of how this report for load testing will look like 5 years ago. So it is 12 pages document. It has 20, 30 screenshots. You need to do manually, you need to add to document, you need to do some analysis. And just imagine it's for one service, once per week, and if you have hundreds of services, and you need to do this on a regular basis, this is again another scalability problem we're facing. So we decided, okay, manual not, let's go for automation. And so we created a tool to automate our load test reporting. So this is how it looked like, and it's completely based on default Golang template. And so you can see this is kind of a markdown document. You have some variables, you have some functions, so you can, for example, run query on Prometheus to get some data from Grafana Cloud for some specific query, and this data will be printed in your document. Despite this, you can also draw some diagrams, you can draw some metrics, for example, here example again from the Prometheus and from CloudWatch. It's amazing. It works, and small but very important part of our load test analysis is about to do conclusion if the load test is successful or not. And this part here, so what we do, we just divide in our load from the production and load from the load test. We find out the multiplier we had in the load test, and we print it out. So we can say, okay, did we reach it 3 or 5x in our load test or not? And also we can check how many errors we had, what is the rate of errors, and yeah. But again, this is exact evaluation. So it was reporting, but we also have another tools to report this to our management. So this is how evaluation looks like. So we check if error rate is less than 2%, so okay-ish. If latency is less than 150 milliseconds, so also okay-ish. So we can say load test is fine. But just imagine you increase amount of rules, you add more requirements, and you need to do all of this all the time. And then you know to do if-else conditions, so it doesn't work. Again, another scalability problem. So did we create a masterpiece? Let's say like 4 years ago when we created this tool, it improved our productivity because we unload this stuff from our engineers. It helped them to work, but unfortunately, as I said, you have a report, but this report needs to be analyzed by someone. So again, scalability problem, analyzing your reports. And we get back to the problem. So technology don't stay still, and you either can run from the technology or you can embrace it. So what we decided a couple of months ago, we decided to why not to use AI. And actually, if you look at this example, it's super simple. It's only 3 lines of code. So yeah, why not use AI? The problem of this is a trap. It's easy to start, it's very impossible to quit. And the problems here, like maybe you all know it, if you used AI at least once, so the problem is a prompt. You need to really well define the prompt, what you want from the AI, what data you have, how you need your input, and so on and so forth. Results are inconsistent. Even if you use the same prompt, results will be different because you have different input data, you have different model evolves. It doesn't stay still as well. And yeah, the results are different between models. I was experimenting a couple of months, and some models got expired. They deprecated models, so I had to switch. And what I found out, it gives absolutely different result. And result degradation over time, this I already mentioned. You prepare the prompt, it works, but in 1 or 2 weeks, it stops. I mean, it doesn't stop, but it gives you different results. And for us, this reporting is important because when you open 12 pages document, you want to find some specific data about your load test in specific place. You don't want to read all of these 12 pages. You want to open and say, okay, on the first page I will see the multiplier, I will see error rate, I will see other data. But it doesn't work. Also, there are like unavoidable limitations with AI. You all know about this context window, and you can imagine load tests generates massive amount of data. So you need to put this data into your model, and it needs to process it. Hallucinations. This is my favorite because, yeah, this is, I can't explain. And also, yes, and also AIs are talkative. This is a problem even when you say AI, please give me one number. Only one number. It will give you this number, but also it will wrap it into few paragraphs of the text why it gives you this number. Almost repeating your prompt, actually. Okay, so to bypass these problems, we did a couple of things. First of all, we used the same prompt template generation engine, we use it for reports itself. So we're using like markdown file. It has a functions and has some text, static text. So we generate prompt from the input from the our Grafana dashboards, from CloudWatch, and yeah, it is the same. It's very simple. It's amazing. And what we did with the prompt to make it, you know, rock from the first part, we split prompt into 3 important parts. So first of all, we have definitions and requirements. Second of all, we have data. So we provide the production data to compare. We provide load test data to be evaluated. And the last step, we set up the response. So we tell AI in which format we want this output. So our input, our definitions and requirements, this is input from our reliability manifesto about what we expect from the load test. It is the same. We tell AI, okay, we want to test our environment for some rapid growth. We want to test our environment for different conditions. We want to have very realistic as production environment, and so on and so forth. So this is a static component of our prompt. And then we have data. And data consists of 2 parts as well. So production. From production, we get our throughput data, so we want to compare, we want to know what is our 1x in production, and we have endpoints metadata. This is important for us because if you load test health check, it's not load testing. So we want to test different endpoints, so we need the input from the production, which endpoints actually being used. Because to understand as well, in our case, I already mentioned, we have around 70 countries we operate, and these countries have different features enabled, different features implemented, so the same service may have very different access patterns. And we also, if we go back to the definitions of our requirements, you will understand that we require load testing for different countries, for different environments, so we will have more holistic overview of what we are testing. So we need endpoint metadata. Then in load test, we provide like memory, CPU consumption over the time of the load test. We provide latency, error rate, throughput, and again, what endpoints we will load testing in this run. And this is the fun part because this is how from the beginning we started to provide data. So we say, okay, we have this timestamp, we have, for example, this is P95 for our service, this is timestamp, this is the value. So we feed AI with some data, real data. And the last one, this is kind of biggest pain point because you can't do anything with requirements. Requirements are kind of written in the stone. You can't do anything with data. You can just provide data. But this one is very important because I already mentioned. At the end, I want just to open document, find out one specific place where we have number, check this number and say, okay, it's 5x, load test is perfect. And this is how we set up. We say, please provide results in this format, only number and all your recommendations afterwards. And this is how it gives you results. So if you look, yeah, it has multiplier. And if you check, there is a mentioning of multiplier, but not the number. As I said, AI is very talkative. And actually, to be honest, this is very good analysis. This is very good analysis, but this is not what I want. And if you go to another part, so also error rate, so it's everything. It provides you some good analysis, but at the end, it's nice, but I want number, for example. And next. Yeah, the same. For P95, yeah, okay. Quality, so as I said, you can provide metadata of your endpoint, and then it can say, okay, this is not enough data for evaluating if load test was covering all possible cases, or if just testing your health check, and so on and so forth. So this is output from AI we get. And there is a summary. This is the part where I was expecting AI, to provide some input instead of previous parts. But yeah, it decided. And I also want to emphasize, if you can check the latest sentence, which says we don't have information regarding resource utilization, memory and CPU, because at the first runs, we didn't provide this information. We started with simple, like, okay, we will give some throughput information, we will give some error rate, we will try it with simple stuff, and then we started only to give, okay, please, I have information about how a memory and CPU were performing during the load test, please give me some suggestions what is wrong with my setup. And looks good, yeah, as I said, it looks good, but then we gave AI information about memory and CPU utilization. And it didn't fail like this, but the output was absolutely strange, and it was absolutely nonsense. So it was obvious from the output that AI just skipped some part of data and started to do some evaluations and assessments based on very small, maybe not small, but random parts of the input. And this is exactly these unavoidable limitations, because we have some context window you can provide, and you can't feed AI infinity with information. So just to understand how our data look like, this is load test, this is, I'm not sure if this memory or CPU, how it looks like. And this also, and this example only for 150 pods. But with our scale, with our load for 11 million orders per day, actually our load test should run more than 1,050 pods. So you can imagine the amount of numbers you need to put into AI. And I calculated actually, it is 135,000. But the problem is not numbers. The problem, you need to structure this data so AI can understand what to do with this data. And our input was look like this. So at some point, with all this formatting, with new lines, you breach the context and the AI starts to hallucinate with your data. So you really need to structure your data, and maybe to cut some of them. And this is what we did. When we kind of cleared data, try to don't put 1,000 pods information into your prompt, it started to work, maybe with 2, 3, 10 pods, but at the end, you're picking random data you're providing, and also AI does evaluations based on the random data. So again, it doesn't work. So how to fix it? Who can guess? How to structure your data? Come on. More like JSON, yes. We need to structure our data, and what we picked, come on, CSV. It's amazing because you can provide it most visit in some format, and this is the format. So you don't have all these new lines, you don't have all these huge documents. So you say, okay, we have this pod, we have these numbers, and it's way less information. You can already feed this information to AI. And what is I like more, because you can just create a file out of this, and you can send this file with your call to API. And it makes your prompt more readable, because when you prompt text, 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 and then million of numbers, it's unreadable. I mean, it's not intended to be readable by humans, but still. if you want to check something. So after that, we got some information which CSV is our everything. After that, it was like breaking point because this is just example. You see, AI can identify that, okay, it was a pod which fluctuated from 1% to 25% in very short period of time. It was more pods which fluctuated even more. We had the pod which even reached 100% of memory utilization. And it says, okay, it was possibly memory leak. You need to investigate it. And it says, recommendation, those pods should be of use investigated. And so on and so forth. It's even identified because you run load tests, you add more and more workload, and it says, okay, but 3 out of your 1,000 pods were very new to do any evaluations. So just remove it from the scope. And then it also says, okay, you have this requested CPU for your pods, and it is observed that over the time, load test, blah, 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 but didn't reach this limit. This is okay. I love it. So yeah. Go into conclusions. As I mentioned, starting with AI is super, super simple. It's only 3 lines of code, but then it's a very helpful tool when you understand how to design your prompt, but it's maybe nightmare if you don't. And yeah, CSV format can help you. And yeah, we are hiring, and if you want solve such problems with me and my colleagues, please don't hesitate. There is careers, deliveryhero.com. We are hiring multiple roles for engineers, managers, and so on and so forth. And again, if you want to chat with me, you can chat here. And you also can, again, add me to any of these platforms. That's all.